with the whole Terry situation? What happened with the secret mission?
It's hard to not ignore it when there are stronger couples in here.
You think Josh and Mimi?
Yeah, I do.
I honestly think Kieran and Nicole instead of that.
I feel so strongly that Josh and Mimi should be on there.
So let me get this straight. Mimi endured her relationship being dragged in the mud by Joey and Sean, and then now that people are complaining to Ofcom, suddenly the producers went to the corner shop and bought her a bunch of flowers and said, Joey, you need to use this to apologize. Make it make sense. It's the audacity for me. It's the audacity that they would think that would silence people. Yeah, it looks pretty on TV, but I'm not buying it. I don't know, whoever wants to buy it can buy it, but I'm not buying it. Because what does that mean? So you're forcing this relationship, or you're forcing this young lady to accept an apology, even though she said she didn't want any more conversations with him. Now you're forcing it so that you think the viewers can just brush over it and say, oh, that's the end of it. It's not the end of it. We still remember all the derogatory things, the defamatory things, the patronizing behavior. We remember it all. So I digress. Hi there, thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island, Season 11, Episode 47. Love Island really needs to change. They really need to change something. Either they change producers or they change their format because something isn't working. Because you have the dates finished and you can see that it's cliques in the villa. You can see people are not getting along at all. With the guys, you have Joey sit down with Sean on the daybeds. And then on the sun deck, you have Kieran with Josh and Ayo. And then the girls are sat amongst themselves. So you have Jesse, Jessica, and Nicole and Mimi. And it's like, where is Matilda? And why are the boys separated? Is it that tense amongst them that they can't even sit next to one another, even though we've been told that Joey has apologized to Josh and Josh has accepted the apology? Make it make sense. The girls are buzzing. Nicole is excited about her necklace. She's telling everyone she was excited. And the fact that, Kieran had the theme of the Welsh flag on their date, which, she really liked, and she told everybody she trusts him. And it's like, I would leave the villa before you use those words. Leave the villa, see how you cope in the real world, and then if you know that you trust him, then say you trust him, because otherwise you don't continue to throw words that you can't live up to. Kieran on his part, he's excited, he's ecstatic, he didn't expect to find a girl and he's found a girl and he's happy. And it's like, well, they're functional because they're in the villa. I think they're going to have a lot of problems when they leave the real world, unless the storyline has been exaggerated. But that's my feeling, that they're really going to struggle once they hit the real world because of Nicole's trust issues. You have Jessie tell everyone that she's now exclusive with Joey and that their date was amazing. She's still holding on to this stuff, like the ones that you win at a fun fair. I don't know what was the idea behind this teddy. Was it sort of mimicking Jomi or what? What was it? I didn't get it. I really didn't. I understand Kieran getting a necklace, but this teddy bear, I did not understand. I did not understand and still don't understand. Everyone was excited for her. Joey was telling Sean, I've decided to be exclusive, and Sean was excited for him because, he said the more the merrier that are exclusive. You can see that some of it is just procedural, whereby people are just labeling stuff and doing stuff just so that, they have an excuse for why they should make it to the finale. Because at the end of the day, I don't get it and I'm not buying it. You have Jess, talk about her date with Ayo and how romantic it was and how many grand gestures and how excited she was that, he did that and he asked her to be exclusive. It's Oaks because Mimi was in a couple with Ayo and we barely saw Ayo do anything for her. I don't know whether it's the edits or whether that's who he was. So it makes it uncomfortable in my opinion, for her to sit there and hear all these nice things that Ayo is doing for Jess but didn't do for her. But that's just my opinion. Ayo is excited. He tells the guys that they're exclusive. He wanted them to be exclusive before they left the villa. And it's like he wanted her not to sort of leave him. That's the impression that I got from his explanation, that he didn't want her to leave him, or he didn't want her to be anxious and think that he was leaving her now that they had left the show. I don't know. Mimi spoke about her date, the fact that Josh had everything themed. So there were white flowers everywhere. This is why he asked her to wear white. He had white candles. I didn't hear her talk about Jomi, but Jomi was part of the date. Jomi is a very spoiled child because when the grandparents came, Jomi came out to meet the grandparents. Now parents are going on a date. Jomi is there. We need a babysitter for Jomi. Anyway, the girls were excited for her. And Mimi actually explained that, she's never had someone pamper her the way Josh does. And it's like, what sort of people are you girls dating? What sort of people are you girls dating? Because you can't tell me that you've never had... It's not an expensive gift. It's just the gesture. The thought is what counts. Someone who's done something nice for you. But she then goes on to explain that she is someone who's very thoughtful in relationships and tries to sort of plan sort of these small little gestures for her partner. So for someone else to do it for her was amazing. And it's like, Josh really likes Mimi. Josh really likes Mimi because the boys were actually teasing him and saying to him, next stop is I love you. And he said, no, I'll do that when it feels right. He didn't say he's not yet in love. He said when it feels right, which tells me that he might have already been, or he might have already fallen in love. We all saw him when Mimi was singing. He's there, but I think he doesn't want to scare her by telling her that he's in love. So he's going to try and push it back as far as he can until he feels like she's comfortable and she's ready to accept it, and it won't scare the bejesus out of her that, oh, we've only been together for so long and you're already in love. Make it make sense. Matilda came. She still had her sweet necklace, and it's like, oh my god, this is a mess. So she is excited. She said her date was amazing. It was sweet themed to coincide with Sean's job, so that was good for her. Sean is like, he's excited. He feels that his feelings for Matilda are growing stronger, and he thinks he might be falling in love. And it's like, wow, okay, it is what it is. You then have the girls go and sit by it's actually Jess and Matilda go and sit by the day beds, and I don't know what happened to the rest of the girls. And then you see Joey pull Mimi for a chat, and it's like, seriously, why are we forcing this? Why are we forcing this? It's bad enough Mimi has had to endure all the defamatory statements, all the derogatory comments, all the patronizing behavior. Now we're forcing her to accept an apology when she's not ready. Make it make sense? And for him to bring that little bouquet of flowers, did they not have a budget? Couldn't someone go and actually buy decent flowers? And at the end of the day, we didn't even see the flowers. We suddenly saw them on the sun deck. Where were they? They were not a part of the shopping that was done. So how then are we pretending that Joey brought them? And then on the daybeds, you have Jessie with a Y is upset. She was upset and she was jealous, I think, because to her, she's thinking, I'm carrying around this stuffed animal and he's buying flowers for somebody else. Make it make sense. And it's like, well, you were there. You saw how you offended her. He's trying his best. Ofcom have been complaining. They've received thousands and thousands of complaints. So they have to do something to sort of try and sort of pacify the people that are angry. And for me, I'm not buying it and I'm not happy. And I don't think Mimi should have been forced to sit down with that man and accept his apology. Everybody goes to bed and they're excited because, they're still all loved up from their date. Am I the only one who caught it that Sean said he loves Matilda and Matilda didn't say I love you too? Am I the only one? I think she said I'm feeling that sort of way, and it's like, well, are you loving him or you're not? I didn't get it. It was awkward. And thank God the lights were out so nobody else saw it or could hear. Or maybe they didn't even hear it because maybe they were fast asleep. Anyway, in the morning, you have debrief, but they don't play all the debriefs. All you have is Joey having a conversation with Jessie. And they're sort of talking about Essex and wanting to make her an Essex girl and wanting her to come round so that she can visit. The fact that he doesn't know whether he lives in a town or a village doesn't make sense to me. And Essex, I've been there. It's not one of the best places anyway. Or maybe it's just the part that I went to, but it was too dead. Anyway, so they're talking about this, how are we going to do life in the real world? What are we going to do? He's made plans. He wants to show her around Essex. I don't know what else he wants to do with her. She is excited, but he's saying, you're a bit too posh for Essex. And it's like, oh, okay. It is what it is. She thinks she's not posh. That connection, I don't get it. The way Jessie makes it seem, she makes it seem as though Joey's, his journey started the moment she entered the villa. Because we all know how mad Joey moved, how badly he treated Samantha, how badly he treated Grace. And so for her to think she's the prize and suddenly start planning this life with this man, Well, we'll see what happens. We will see. You have Nicole having a conversation with Kieran, sort of talking about the fact that if they had met in the real world, he would have stopped to greet her and asked her to take a picture for him and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I personally, I know everyone is saying Kieran and Nicole are going to win. I'm yet to hear proper conversations that they've had about their connection. Maybe I've missed it. I know Kieran is my favorite, but I'm yet to see anything that they've discussed that's substantial. Yes, I know someone said they live 20 minutes apart, so it will be easy for them to see each other, but still, there's something not right with that connection. That's just my opinion. Anyway, Kieran receives a text message to say that they're going to have a sports day, and everyone is excited because, everyone likes to compete. Well, everyone is sort of relaxing. They receive a message to say, it's going to be sports day. And you can see that people are not in the mood. They're not in the mood. They just want to relax because, they were enjoying the party the day before, their dates, and now they're having to run around. I was surprised with who they made team captains. I'm just going to say that. Unless maybe they knew that some of the girls would throw a tantrum. I don't know how they got to picking Nicole and Jessie with a Y as team captains. I think they should have picked people that are least active. That way, they will just be directing their team and they can stay on the sidelines. And so Nicole, well, her team is actually stacked. That's my opinion. Not sure how capable Sean is when it comes to sport, but she has Kieran and she has Josh, and that's a team on its own. Without the rest can just sit down and do nothing, and they will win everything for her. So she has Kieran, she has Josh, she has Sean, and then they have Jess. And on the other team, Jessie has Joey, she has Ayo, Mimi, and Matilda, and it's like, that team doesn't look as though it looks like the losing team, or automatically just looking at it, because it's Ayo carrying the rest of the team. I don't know how athletic Joey Essex is, so the only saving grace for that team is Ayo. That's my impression. He looks like he's the one who's more into sport than the rest of the group. The rest of the group are just cheerleaders. I love the fact that Mimi owned up that she's a soft girl, so she's going to do the best she can, and she's not going to kill herself. So I can't even wait to see this sport start. It's going to be cringe. I'm cheering for my girl Mimi's team, but it's like the underdog story. I'm hoping they have that underdog story whereby the team that no one expected to win wins, but it doesn't look great for them. Because when both teams come out sort of exercising, you can see that Nicole's team is stacked. The weakest people on Nicole's team are Nicole and Sean. Maybe Matilda, but the three of them, they don't need to do anything. All they need is Josh and Kieran, and they'll carry them to the win. Whereas on the other team, it's only Ayo and my girl Mimi. Mimi is a soft girl. She's already said she's a soft girl, so she's not going to kill herself. So the first race is egg and spoon race. And it was a mess. It was a hot mess because people would try. Jess actually did very well, but then after the first lot, everybody else was a hot mess. Matilda dropped the egg, so she had to go back and pick it back up, and then Mimi had to, do the egg. And you had, Josh, even though he's on a different team, he's busy sort of trying to coach Mimi. Steady your hands, steady your hands. And it's like he doesn't want to do her to do badly, and it's like he's like that parent who's trying to cheer their child that they know is not very good at sport, but they really want their child to do very well. And it was interesting to say the least. Anyway, Nicole's team won because they didn't drop their egg. Sadly, Joey was the last person on Jessie's team, and he was trying to run, so he dropped the egg as well. So that team dropped the egg twice, which is really sad. And to have Sean have the audacity to be, bragging, and it's like, Sean, you didn't do much. Please sit down, buddy. Everybody else carried your backside. So next up was the hula hoop challenge. It's a relay, and I actually came across this game when I went on a cruise this year. It's interesting because on the cruise we had people in a circle and we were all holding hands, and every time the music stopped and the hula hoop was with you, then they would come and tap you and you'd be out. So with this one, they had people stand on either end, and while they were standing there, the hula hoop would travel from number 1 all the way to number 5, and then from number 5 it would come back to number 1. So the first team to have the hula hoop come back would have been the one to win. I was actually thinking that the team with Kieran and Josh were going to win, so I was pleasantly surprised when they lost. But then at the end of the day, Sean stumbled with it. I don't know why he stumbled, why he couldn't get his body in and out, because he was one of the smaller guy, or he's the smallest guy in his team. So I didn't get it. Whereas Joey's team actually did very well, and I was pleasantly surprised that they were able to sort of get the hula hoop to come through at one end, then come back and actually win the game. So it's now one apiece. I'm really trying not to laugh. So the next one was a relay whereby they were floating on a floaty, and then they were swimming from one end of the pool to the other. And so it was great because they started off with Sean and Joey, and they did very well, and even the other guys did very well. And then it got to Mimi and Jess were the last two to compete. This is why Mimi was chosen last, because Mimi is a soft girl. She's already told them that I'm a soft girl, I'm not going to kill myself. So she swam to one end, and then she got there, and then on her way back she was chilling, and Joey was cursing up a storm because he could tell that they had already lost. And Mimi said, I got tired. Some people might say I chose my eyelashes over the team, but I just swam to one end. I got tired, and then I decided, what's the point, because Jess had already gone. And I love the fact that her man realized that she was last, so he went in to get her. Josh really loves this girl. So he could tell she was exhausted, and he thought, you're not going to kill my girl for me. I'll carry her out, and you people can sulk and whatever, but she'll be fine. And it was like, this is the cutest thing ever. I hope I find myself my own Josh. Up, they had a relay whereby they were standing with their legs apart, and someone would have to crawl through your legs, run to the bucket at the back, and then pick up a water balloon and come back and put it, and crawl back through and put it in the bucket in front. And it was okay if you had short people. The problem is, like with Ayo's team, everybody else was shorter than him. So when they spread their legs, he still couldn't fit. And so they all fell backwards. And by the time that he had gone through, the other team had 2-3 people ahead. And so Joey, realizing that they were at a disadvantage, he decided to start the water balloon fight. I didn't think that was a good idea. It's still tense in the villa, so it could have gone either way. It's a good thing that everybody took it lightheartedly, but it could have led to a lot of fights. So I don't know why he thought that was a genius idea. Everybody laughed it off, and they were happy. And Nicole's team won, and they're one of those teams that when they win, everybody has to hear that they've won. They have to chant, they have to sing, they have to, rub it in the other team's face. And it was really sad. Because most of the people had their partners on the other team, and so it's like, this is not a good look. At all. But anyway, it was cute. It was cute that it ended up, with laughter and everybody not taking it seriously in the last challenge. So it means that, the other team lost, and they knew they were going to lose because the other team was stacked. Kieran's team was stacked, and I knew they were going to win. During debrief, because once the games are finished, you have people sitting down in their groups and sort of talking about the competition and what went on. And for me, now I see why the producers are sort of trying to play musical chairs with the Islanders, because you have Joey talking badly about Kieran and saying, oh, look at the way he's staring, and it's like, you're miles away from one another. How can you see how he's staring at you? What is it about Kieran? Joey is very vengeful. He's very vengeful, and he's very vindictive, and he wanted to be the alpha male in the villa. And so coming in and realizing that, yes, he's a celebrity, but other people are not intimidated by that, I think is his biggest problem. That's what I think. Anyway, the Islanders get ready for the night, and they pick up their drinks, and they receive a text message that you need to go in your couples, and you need to vote for 2 couples that you think are least compatible. And it's like, there are some people in this competition at the moment that shouldn't be there. As far as I'm concerned, Joey and Jesse should not be there, because Joey has had a lot of problems with the girls and how he's treated them, so he shouldn't even be judging anybody else, because he's been in the worst position. So they go into their groups and they sit down and they start having back and forths, and so in their groups they decide who they're voting for. I think at the end of the day, everybody should have been voted for. That's my opinion, especially given that the other Islanders are going to come and have the final say. That's what I think. They should have given everybody should have had votes on them, and then had the other Islanders come in and decide who they feel should be vulnerable and who they feel should be safe. So you have the couple sort of trying to debrief and sort of come up with who they feel is the least compatible. And it's like, just looking at the couples from the jump, we all know Matilda is just managing managing Sean until the end. That's all she's doing. She's just managing Sean until the end because the producers, for some reason, want Sean on the show, regardless of the fact that he's been a very negative force in the villa. So I don't know why he's still there. So you have conversations back and forth, and then finally you have Jessie sort of adamant that she wants Mimi and Josh to be in the bottom. And it's like, why? What have they done to you that makes you feel like you want them in the bottom? They haven't done anything. The fact that I feel she's trying to take out vengeance for her friend because Josh didn't pick her friend, and that's why she wants Josh gone home, because otherwise it doesn't make sense, because Josh and Mimi are one of the couples with one of the strongest connections in the villa, and they're most genuine. They actually were voted one of the most genuine couples, and so for her to feel that way doesn't make sense. I feel it's partly because Josh didn't pick Grace, and also the fact that Joey got Mimi flowers. She wasn't happy about that. Sean and Matilda, I agree with. Because they're not compatible at all. There's nothing about them as a couple that makes you think these people are madly in love, regardless of the fact that Sean is declaring his love for Matilda and Matilda is just smiling and saying, I'm on the road too. Sean and Matilda, their hand has shown. This is why Sean has been dragging Mimi, Ayo, Jess, and Josh all this past couple of days or weeks, because he's been looking for a way to get an excuse, because they say, oh, they've had the most problems. And it's like, what problems have they had? You have been the instigator. You have been the one who's been bringing them up. So you can't say they've had problems. Just say you didn't want the black couples in the competition and you want to win. And I don't know how you think you can win over the other two couples. Even if you get rid of Josh and Mimi and Ayo and Jess, you're not still going to win this. So you might as well take several seats. With Mimi and Josh, what do I think? I think them voting Ayo and Jess, I think they just went by what they thought was the couple that was in the bottom all the time, because Ayo and Jess were in the bottom a lot of times, so it would make sense if that was their rationale. As for Joey and Jess, they're justified because Joey and Jess have treated them badly and they've created a lot of havoc, so they're just returning the favor because Joey and Jess have already voted for them, so it's just them, returning the favor. Ayo and Jess, they choose to vote for Joey and Jess and Sean and Matilda. That makes sense. That tracks, because they have tried to ruin their connection. So I'm actually surprised. I think Mimi didn't want to vote for Matilda because she's been very close to Matilda, and Matilda was one of the people who held her up when she was breaking with the Ayo situation. I think this is why she didn't want to vote for them. So if she didn't vote for them, that would have meant Nicole and Kieran, and there's no way she was going to vote for Nicole and Kieran. So her only choices were either Ayo and Jess or Ayo and Jess, because the other couple that they voted for, they were still going to vote for anyway. And then you have Kieran and Nicole. Oh, Kieran and Nicole, the train went off the rails and they completely forgot that they trust each other, because they were having this back and forth about Mimi and Josh. And you had, Nicole adamant that she's not voting for Mimi because she thinks this is the happiest Mimi has been. Maybe Mimi's connection seems to be doing amazing. And I think the reason why was sort of because I think Kieran didn't want his hand to show. Because he was never going to vote for Ayo and Jess. So his only other option would have been to vote for Matilda and Sean. I don't know why they didn't go that way. So in the end, they ended up, I think they voted for Ayo and Jess and Joey and Jessie. That makes sense. Which means that every single couple in the villa, bar Kieran and Nicole, has received a vote. It has received a vote. And it seems next week all the eliminated islanders are coming back to vote for the couples that they want eliminated. I hope they vote for Joey and Jess and Sean and Matilda. That's my hope. I hope those are the couples. If they're not going to allow us, the viewers, to vote, I hope those are the two couples that they vote for, because at the end of the day, these couples have created a lot of havoc, a lot of tension. They need to bring honor back to the show. And the only way they can do that is to get rid of these two couples. Joey has done enough. They've only got 2-3 more episodes to go. They don't need Joey. Neither do they need Sean. They can send them home. I think if they cut out Mimi and Josh, a lot of people will tune out, because Mimi and Josh have a force behind them. They have a force of supporters behind them that are cheering them on. And it seems most of the eliminated islanders really liked Mimi. So I don't see them sort of saying, okay, let's dump her, regardless of the fact that she's in a new connection. And I think those that were there that saw her struggle after Ayo dumped her and picked Jess will have a soft spot for her and will be cheering for her. Sort of the fact that she's found someone who really likes her and someone she really likes. So I don't think they would want her sent home. And I can't wait. I hope that's the plan anyway. The islanders get ready for bed and everybody's talking about voting and how we're all close friends. And it's like, Sean, keep quiet. Nobody wants to hear your voice. Please keep quiet. We are not here for it. We don't want to hear it. We're fed up. You should have gone home week 1 when you first vulnerable. I don't know how you managed to escape that and what you're still doing here. Anyway, I digress. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 46. Bye guys.